Hello, this is the homework for 1.4, problems 46 and 47, which we didn't really get to cover in class, but I wanted to showcase for you here. So all it is it's having us solve equations still like we were doing on the rest of the homework, but instead of there being constants within it, everything is a variable, but we want to apply the same processes. It wants us on 46 to solve for r, which is right there. So what we're going to need to do that is just like any other type of situation where we're trying to solve. I'm going to want to remove the other things with r. So in this case, that is the fact that it's being multiplied by r1 plus r2. So if I divide both sides by r1 plus r2, that's going to get my big R by itself. Sorry, let me bring that stuff back. All right, so now when we do this, it's not cooperating. When we divide both sides by r1 and r2, this will cancel out, leaving us with our r by itself equal to the r1 multiplied by r2 divided by r1 plus r2. Now, one thing to recognize is that you cannot cancel these out, right? We cannot do that because the ones in the denominator are separated with a plus sign. This is actually our final answer right there. All right. Now for 47, it wants us to solve for B2. We talked about how in class, if anytime there's fractions, that we can deal with that by just multiplying both sides by that fraction. So for example, I see this 1/2. I'm going to multiply this whole side by 2 and this whole side by 2. All right. Now this is going to give us 2a. Now the right-hand side of the equation, all three of these terms are multiplying together, right? This whole side of the equation is one big multiplication process, which means this 2 is not going to distribute to all three of these. It's only going to go to essentially the 1/2. So keep that in mind. And that's something we can talk more about if you're still confused with. So really what multiplying both sides by the 2 is going to do is free up. Now we have h, and then still multiplied by b1 plus b2. All right, so with that, we are getting closer to solving for our b2. Now we have some division we need to take care of. I'm going to divide both sides by h, right, to give us 2a divided by h is equal to b1 plus b2. We don't really need the parentheses at that point. Now the last thing we have to do is just subtract the b1 from both sides. So that leaves us with 2a divided by h minus b1 is equal to b2. Right, and all this is solving for different quantities. We do this when we're working with formulas, and maybe I didn't want to, off the original formula, maybe I didn't want to find area. Maybe I knew the area and my height and my first base. Maybe I wanted to solve for B2, the second base. So I rearranged the formula so that I could do it. That's all it is. Same steps as solving an equation, except you're moving around other variables instead of dealing with numbers.